Maryland, 2025. Beneath the surface of its historic charm and bustling streets lies a crisis spiraling out of control. Over 6,000 people are now homeless, sleeping in cars, tents, and abandoned buildings. Families are being torn apart, addiction is claiming lives, and the safety nets meant to protect them are unraveling. How did this happen? Why is it getting worse? And most importantly, can Maryland find a way forward? This is a story of struggle, resilience, and the urgent fight against a disaster that is both shocking and heartbreakingly real. Welcome to Globe Path Travel Documentary. Today, we take you on an eye-opening journey through Maryland in 2025, a state known for its charm, history, and vibrant communities. But behind the scenes, there's a harsh reality unfolding that demands your attention. Imagine walking through the streets of Maryland. You pass bustling downtowns, scenic neighborhoods, and historic landmarks. But then, a different picture comes into view. Tents line the sidewalks. Families huddle together in cars, their faces etched with despair. Entire communities seem to have vanished, leaving behind shadows of what once was. The homelessness crisis has exploded to unprecedented levels, revealing a side of Maryland that many never thought possible. This documentary isn't just about numbers, it's about real lives, untold stories, and the forces driving this crisis deeper into our society. Together, we'll explore the causes, meet those impacted, and search for solutions that could pave the way for a brighter future. This is Maryland in 2025, and it's worse than anyone could have imagined. The state of homelessness in Maryland. Maryland's homelessness crisis in 2025 is not just a statistic. It's a human tragedy unfolding in plain sight. Over 6,000 individuals are now homeless, and behind each number lies a story of struggle, resilience, and heartbreak. Families with young children, once secure in their homes, now find themselves living out of cars, desperately clinging to a semblance of normalcy. Veterans, who once served their country with honor, now wander the streets, forgotten and invisible. Workers, who spent years contributing to the economy, have been pushed out of their homes by skyrocketing rents and stagnant wages. Baltimore and Annapolis have become the epicenters of this crisis. In these cities, makeshift shelters made of tarps and cardboard line the sidewalks. Tent cities have sprung up in parks and under bridges, creating a stark contrast to the bustling urban life just a few blocks away. The living conditions are beyond dire, unsanitary, unsafe, and utterly dehumanizing. Take Sarah, for example. Just 2 years ago, she was a thriving single mother with a stable job in retail. But when her company downsized, she was among the first to be let go. With no savings to fall back on, she quickly fell behind on rent. Eviction followed, and now Sarah spends her days searching for food, and her nights trying to keep her 2 children warm in the back seat of her car. "I never thought this could happen to me," she says, tears streaming down her face. "I just want my kids to feel safe again." The crisis is not limited to urban areas. Suburban and rural communities are also grappling with rising homelessness, as families are priced out of housing markets that were once affordable. The ripple effects are felt everywhere. Schools struggling to support homeless students, hospitals overwhelmed by preventable health issues, and local businesses losing customers who can no longer afford to spend. This is not just a crisis of housing, it's a crisis of humanity. Maryland's homelessness epidemic is a stark reminder of the fragility of stability and the urgent need for systemic change. What's driving homelessness in Maryland? Homelessness crisis in 2025 didn't emerge overnight. It's the result of a perfect storm of challenges that have pushed thousands to the brink. Behind the staggering numbers are deeply rooted issues that have spiraled out of control, leaving families, veterans, and workers struggling to survive. Housing costs. The cost of housing in Maryland has reached unprecedented levels. Rent prices have soared, leaving even middle-class families struggling to keep their homes. Maryland ranks among the toughest states for renters, with a shortage of over 96,000 housing units. Regulatory hurdles and slow construction process have exacerbated the problem, making affordable housing a distant dream for many. For those already living paycheck to paycheck, the rising costs have been devastating economic struggles. Inflation has pushed basic necessities out of reach, while layoffs and stagnant wages have compounded the problem. Maryland's proximity to major metropolitan areas and its thriving tech industry have created a competitive housing market, but the benefits haven't trickled down to the average worker. Families who once felt secure now find themselves on the edge, unable to afford rent or even groceries. Drug addiction and mental health issues. Substance use and mental health challenges are deeply intertwined with homelessness. Individuals experiencing homelessness often face higher rates of addiction and untreated mental health conditions. Treatment programs are overwhelmed, and stigma surrounding these issues prevents many from seeking help. Without stable housing, recovery becomes even more difficult, creating a vicious cycle that traps individuals in crisis policy failures. Delayed funding and gaps in support systems have left vulnerable populations exposed. While initiatives like transitional housing programs and rental assistance exist, they are often underfunded and inaccessible to those who need them most. Policies meant to protect renters, such as rent control, have unintentionally kept prices high in certain areas, further straining the system. Take David's story, for example. A former construction worker, David had a steady job and a modest apartment. But when his company downsized, he was left without work. Unable to pay his rent, he was evicted and forced to live under a bridge. "I lost everything," he says, his voice heavy with disbelief. "My job, my apartment, and now I live under a bridge. I didn't think this could happen to someone like me." David's experience is not unique. It's a stark reminder of how quickly stability can unravel. The homelessness crisis in Maryland is a reflection of systemic failures that demand urgent attention. What's being done about it? Maryland has launched initiatives to counter homelessness, but the gap between effort and demand remains significant. Transitional housing programs offer temporary relief, providing shelter for those in dire need, but long waiting lists highlight the growing urgency. Baltimore's Hope Village is a notable project, offering tiny homes to residents along with financial counseling and stability-focused services. Nonprofits have stepped in to fill the gaps, supplying meals, mental health support, and job training for affected individuals. Yet, for every individual assisted, many more still face the harsh realities of homelessness, begging the question, are these efforts adequate ideas for a better way forward? To address the crisis effectively, bold changes are essential. A housing-first approach must be prioritized, placing homeless individuals into stable housing without preconditions. Mental health and addiction treatment centers require expansion to support vulnerable populations struggling with these challenges. Affordable housing initiatives should focus on reducing rent prices and increasing low-cost housing statewide. Lastly, job training programs should be scaled up to equip individuals with employable skills, paving a path toward financial independence. As one advocate powerfully states, if we don't act now, we risk losing an entire generation to the streets. The urgency is undeniable. Maryland must act boldly to ensure no one is left behind. Social welfare, the safety net. In Maryland, social welfare programs like food stamps and cash aid serve as critical lifelines for thousands of vulnerable residents. These programs aim to provide basic necessities, food, shelter, and financial support to those who are struggling to make ends meet. However, in 2025, the strain on these systems has reached a breaking point. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, helps low-income households purchase food. While it remains one of the most widely used programs, the demand has skyrocketed, leaving many families waiting for approval or receiving insufficient benefits. Temporary Cash Assistance, TCA, is another vital program, offering financial aid to families with dependent children. TCA benefits can be used for rent, utilities, and basic household items, but the limited funding often falls short of meeting the needs of struggling families. For those relying on these programs, the challenges go beyond financial constraints. Endless bureaucracy, complex eligibility requirements, and long processing times create barriers that prevent many from accessing the support they desperately need. Families often face the difficult choice of navigating these systems or focusing on immediate survival. Community action agencies across Maryland have stepped in to provide additional support, offering services like food pantries, nutrition assistance, and emergency housing. These agencies work tirelessly to fill the gaps left by government programs, but their resources are limited, and the demand continues to grow. Strengthening the social safety net is essential to protecting Maryland's most vulnerable residents. This includes increasing funding for SNAP and TCA, streamlining application processes, and expanding access to emergency assistance programs. By addressing these systemic issues, Maryland can ensure that no family is left without the support they need to survive and thrive. Wrapping it up, homelessness in Maryland is not an isolated issue. It's a mirror reflecting the broader societal challenges faced across the nation. It highlights the fragility of stability, the gaps in our systems, and the urgent need for collective action. But amidst the despair, there is hope. This crisis, while daunting, is not insurmountable. Every individual deserves the chance to live with dignity, to have a safe place to call home, and to rebuild their lives. Addressing homelessness is not just about providing shelter. It's about restoring humanity, offering opportunities, and creating a society where no one is left behind. This documentary is more than just a story. It's a call to action. It's a plea to policymakers to prioritize affordable housing, mental health care, and addiction treatment. It's a reminder to communities to come together, to volunteer, to donate, and to advocate for change. And it's an invitation to every viewer to play their part, no matter how small, in building a future where homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring. Together, we can raise awareness, demand better policies, and inspire action. The road ahead may be challenging, but with compassion, determination, and unity, we can create a Maryland and a world where everyone has a place to call home. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Maryland's homelessness crisis in 2025. The stories we've shared are real, the challenges are immense, but together we have the power to create change. If this documentary moved you, helped you understand the issue, or inspired you to take action, then don't stop here. Like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories that matter. Your support helps us shine a light on untold truths and drive awareness for issues that need urgent attention. Let's grow this community and work together for a brighter, better future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Globe Path Travel Documentary.